When I was a child growing up on the farm, I remember my mom attending sewing circle. I was never privy to what happened at sewing circle. I don't remember ever seeing evidence that there was actually sewing going on, but I do know that it was a place for women to gather and to have conversations about things that matter to them, their families, their communities, their lives. And in my 20s, when my feminist sensibilities started to evolve, I remember feeling rather dismissive of things like sewing circles because I felt that women should be getting access to the important spaces where men were gathering and making decisions on behalf of their communities and churches and families. And so I spent much of my 20s and 30s and even 40s working hard to get access to those rooms rather than being in sewing circles. And now, years later, I'm starting to recognize that it doesn't need to be one or the other. Because one of the things I'm recognizing is that those spaces where women were gathering, the sewing circles, is where they were stitching together the fabric of the community, of their families. And I see the importance of that now, gathering for craft making, for conversation. And so I think it's important that we, as maturing women especially, learn to incorporate those two things, that we do gather for that stitching together of the fabric of the community, and that we also serve as change makers and revolutionaries and leaders. And so that's the kind of spaces that I'm looking to create now, is those that see the value in the craft making spaces, in the women's gathering spaces, but that are also insistent that we be change makers and revolutionaries and leaders in our communities as well. And so I want to invite you to be in one of those spaces with me. We've started a program called Whale Song, where we will be gathering with our craft, whatever that looks like, and making things together while we talk about important things like what it means to be an aging woman in a patriarchal society. I hope you'll join me.